How much house can you actually afford by salary? We are going to get into it this video, so make sure you stay into the end. And if you want to get pre-qualified, you can click the pin link down below and you can get pre-qualified with Angelo. It's super easy. We actually have a video on that if you want to see what that process is like. This has been a big topic between me and you, and a lot of people want to give guides to people. Oh, you have to stay in this guide. How does this work with you in trying to figure out what a person can actually afford?
Man, it really is a loaded question about what somebody can afford, because there are so many variables, Gavin. As you can see, when we were putting this video together, there were so many different variables that could definitely change the numbers. So in this particular video, or these examples, we're just using a cut and dry number on what the liabilities are monthly. But when somebody comes to me and they say, "Hey, Angelo, how much, I'd like to get pre-approved for a loan. How much can I qualify for?" And my first question to them, Gavin, is, okay, I may be able to get you approved for much more than you think. So have you thought about what you feel is comfortable for you every month in, month out, buying that mortgage payment? How much do you think you can afford? And if you don't know the exact number, how about a range of numbers, right? Give me a low, a mid, and a high. And then what I can do is I can back into a sales price that way to say, hey, here's the sales price range where you think you fit into. Now, do you feel comfortable with that? How much are you paying in rent, right? Because a rent's a good gauge to see what you're paying in rent currently. Usually people can go up a little bit from what they're paying in rent if they want to buy a house, because it's going to be a whole house for them. So that's usually how we approach it. Instead of, there's a lot of things out there when it comes to like rules of thumb and, 50, 30, 20 or 50, 50, whatever those things are. But it is scenario based. Everybody is different. We could have somebody that is one person that's on the loan, somebody else that's not on the loan because of what credit, situations and things like that. So everything is fluid, right? Everything is kind of moving. So it all does depend on your particular scenario when we go over that. And we talked about budgeting and, monthly payments and stuff like that. So I hope that helps.
Right. So when you go online and you see someone doing a TikTok live and they're showing what you can afford with how much you're making a month, it is more times than not completely not accurate, because there are so many factors that
Correct.
attribute to your monthly mortgage payment, what you can qualify for. So Angelo, for this video, what is like the baseline here? What is the loan? What does this look like for this particular person that we've laid out throughout this video?
So this video is based on a conventional loan, a first-time buyer with the minimum 3% down payment for conventional, like I said. So, FHA is completely different because the numbers, they're more lenient, so you can get higher debt ratios. But what we're looking for in this video is conventional 3% down with the standard maximum debt to income ratios. And then we backed off of that maximum and we went down to a little bit more of a comfortable debt to income ratio, because some people may not want to be at their max, right? Some people do, some people don't. Once again, it's a comfortability level and it's scenario based. So that's what this particular scenario is about. So, here we go.
Angela, one more thing here, because me and you were joking before we started recording here about conventional loans, all right? I joked about it. I'm like, stop being a bitch, go all in on, monthly mortgage payment, get close to those approvable limits, but it's jokingly because of what reason? Like, why does someone want to use a conventional loan over an FHA loan?
Yeah. I have plenty of clients right now that they want to use a conventional because sellers, and this is a stigma, it's it's not a 100% true with newer homes, but it's a stigma that from sellers, they don't want to accept an FHA offer because they think, oh, it's going to be harder on appraisals, or the borrower isn't that great, or whatever the case may be, which is not the case. It's not the case for a majority of the time, right? But if the home is a very old home, it's got wood siding and there's rotten wood and things like that, FHA loans are going to make you fix that, whereas a conventional won't. But 9 times out of 10, if it's a newer home, there's really no reason not to accept an FHA pre-approval letter. So don't be scared, everybody out there. Sellers, don't be scared. Don't worry about FHA. FHA is a fantastic loan program, and it actually does give you a better payment than some conventional loan programs. So just food for thought.
Let's get into the max mortgage payments with some calculations here for approvable limits, Angelo.
Yep. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they don't like to go over about 46% debt to income ratio when you have the bare minimum down payment of 3%, right? So, which is basically what we're using these old calculations about here. So I have a couple different salary options here, or some salary numbers here. As you can see, I'm using 45% of the gross income, $30,000 salary. Unfortunately, it's $900 a month, which you can qualify for, and that's all in taxes, insurance, so PITIA. So unfortunately, Charlotte's probably not going to be the best area to search in for that, because it's going to be hard to find a property, for that. So open up a little bit more to $50,000. Then we can go up to about $1,650 per month, all in PITIA. So opens it up a little bit for you, but then where it really opens it up here at $75,000, you can afford about $2,600 a month, and then at $100,000, you're about $3,600 a month. So once again, 45% of the gross income. These are what these numbers look like. Now, I'm going to explain to you. So I was talking about, this is for a conventional loan, 97%, loan to value, 3% down. I do want you guys to understand that it is scenario based. So if you have somebody that is putting, let's say, 20 or 30% down payment, I've gotten approvals for them for up to 50, even 51% debt to income ratio through Fannie and Freddie. It's because you have compensating factors. It's lower risk. You're putting a lot of skin in the game. You have good credit. So they use as an algorithm to say, okay, yes or no, that it'll go up to that certain amount. So just understand that. So we're trying to, guys, I do want to give you as much information as possible. So don't think it's like cut and dry, 45% you can't get approved if you don't have any compensating factors.
Let's get into the impact of debt on your mortgage affordability. Angelo, how impactful is having student loans, credit cards, other forms of debt when it comes to getting a mortgage?
Man, it is the most impactful when it comes to getting a mortgage, because if you have a ton of extra debt on top of that proposed new mortgage payment, you can, basically kiss that mortgage goodbye. You have a couple cars. I've seen it, right? I've seen somebody have 2 or 3 cars, a couple credit cards maxed out, where it really crushes what they can get for a total for a housing payment, because they're basically maxed out with just that other debt. So that's very, very impactful.
So having a lot of debt will skew the numbers more. Okay.
Big time.
So now let's get into some more realism here. Let's get into realistic mortgage payment calculations. And this is for something called a comfortable mortgage payment. All right. And Angelo, you were describing to me, everyone usually goes over budget when they're getting, they get a more expensive home. They really want the home, which every month gives you a higher mortgage payment. So get into some realism here. Why are we talking about a comfortable mortgage payment?
Because once again, I'm not going to be making that mortgage payment for you, unfortunately. You're going to be making that. And I want you to understand that it's very, very important that month in, month out, that you are comfortable with this payment, because you are going to have other debts that come along down the road, right? You're going to want to save. You want to save for a rainy day. You want to save for a vacation, right? 401ks, IRA, stocks, bonds, whatever, maybe crypto, right? So you want to make sure that you have some money on the side and not, as they call it, house poor.
Right. Angelo, okay, give me these breakdowns for an affordable mortgage payment by salary.
So as you can see here, we got some numbers for you. $30,000, you're looking at, if you want to keep it affordable with that income, $826 a month, PITIA, principal, taxes, interest, and insurance all in. Okay?
Get a new job.
So it's not leaving you much. $50,000 salary, you got about $1,400 a month all in. $75,000, $2,300 a month, and $100,000, $3,100 a month. Now, these are comfortable limits, right? You're not maxing out the debt to income ratios. It's leaving you some side money. So we wanted to give you a good idea of, hey, here's the max. Here's a good comfortable number, and of course, we can help you decide that once we get to that point. So.
And Angela, we have a quick comparison of the things that you just broke down when it comes to 45% DTI and a 36 DTI, which is where you're 45, you're pressing the limits. You're going up to that max range there. And then the 36 is a more comfortable range here. Where does it start becoming more comfortable when looking at this comparison, like a salary, all right? What salary becomes more comfortable for you to afford a home in America?
I mean, as you can see here, is that 75,000 is really where it breaks away from, that 30 and 50,000, because 2,600 is more, is more in line on what's out there, what's available, especially in Charlotte, right? You can go down the outskirts and things like that, but in Charlotte, you're looking, $75,000 is probably where you want to be, because unfortunately it's difficult to purchase a home in Charlotte for $30,000 or $50,000. So,
but I would say, Angelo, there are rural areas where you can
100%.
get. I don't know if it's going to be an $826 a month mortgage payment, but there are. I mean, okay, I'll take that back for a second, Angelo. When we looked at Dayton, Ohio, because we were looking at a specific type of real estate investing, right? And we were looking at $60,000 home. You will be in that range for that mortgage
for
payment.
sure.
So, but that is Dayton, Ohio. So you are, there's a give and take here.
Right. I mean, outside of Charlotte, there's Statesville. I was talking to somebody before we hopped on this call. There's Statesville. There's, Troutman. There's a lot of areas in Concord, Kannapolis. Like, there's so many areas outside of Charlotte that you can purchase a home. You can purchase awesome homes for a lot less money than Charlotte. So don't think you have to be in the heart of Charlotte to purchase a home. That's not the case.
Let's get into the purchase price estimations here, Angelo. What can you tell us about how much home a person can afford?
So let's just break it down for you here. As you can see, $30,000 salary, estimated home purchase price on your max mortgage payment, maximum conventional, you're looking at around $125,000. Unfortunately, that's not much.
Fortunately.
$50,000.
Unfortunately is the word of the video, unfortunately.
Yeah. $50,000, you're looking at around $228,000, so definitely much better. $70,000, here we go. Once again, we're kind of getting into that ball. Now we're in the ballpark here of, there's available homes. So I closed one of those homes today, $330,000. I'm closing one tomorrow for $350,000. So they're out there. $75,000 is $370,000. $100,000, you're looking around $500,000 purchase price.
As we've gone through these different incomes, Angelo, there is probably some affordability issues with some of these areas. What can you tell us about, what advice would you give to someone that wants to buy a home but may be in that $30,000 to $50,000 a year income range?
Be willing to commute. If you're in Charlotte, if you're working in Charlotte, be willing to go out into those, the rural areas, not rural areas, but outside of the city limits of Charlotte, Gastonia, Belmont, you have, like I talked, Statesville, High Point, Hickory, things like that, right? You just may have a little bit of a commute, but you may be able to find something that is in those areas, for your purchase price that you can get approved for. But if it's not your time to purchase a home, then maybe you should just keep renting and save up to put a higher down payment, which would then ultimately give you A, lower payment, and B, more purchasing power.
Stack your guys' bread, find another job so you can buy the home of your dreams, because we have talked a lot about appreciation, Angela. We are going to see great appreciation numbers this year. Still a lot of appreciation left on the table here. I remember looking at numbers from Realtor.com, Zillow, Redfin, FHFA,
For sure.
Black Knight. There is still appreciation on the table for this year. So if you are looking to buy a home, you got to get pre-qualified. You got to get that application in, and you can do that with Angelo. Pin link down below. Don't wait, team. If you are within, especially if you're in that 75K range and you got like a remote job, crap, guys, go buy a home. go buy a home. That's how
For sure.
wealth is created, is through this home. Through primary residence, Angelo, just like we talked about last video.
Yep.
Man, having a primary residence is the quickest and surest way to create wealth within your family. I know we got some backlash on some TikTok about that,
Right.
but because everyone's just eating up the rent thing right now, and I just don't know
Right.
why. They don't get to actually look into the numbers. Get an MBS Highway account, get on the affordability calculator, use that tool, and you will be able to see and break down how much you make a year and look at what you can actually afford. And it will drastically change, because everyone forgets about the appreciation. Everyone forgets about rent increases every single year. Team, don't be one of those idiots, all right? Actually buy a home like the ballers in America, all right? And then you will become a baller. Team, we are done today. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.